Here we will discuss more on the design of the individual components of these control units such as a PI controller, compensation network, PWM control, and this is the plant, which is basically DC to DC converter. This is a feedback signal where we change the value of B0 to a signal level to BFP feedback signal. And as we have found earlier, the overall transfer function is given by this expression here. This is the constant value, and this corresponds to the PI controller. These two factors are for lead compensator and the remaining for the plant, including the gain. So in this, the gain is also included of this transfer function. Based on that, we have studied the Bode plot and found that the gain margin and phase margin are quite positive and system is overall stable. So 6.55, 50.3 degree are the gain margin and phase margin. Last time I have taken this as 100. Actually 100 was the FL, not omega L. This term corresponds to 1 plus omega L by S. Omega L for lower frequency basically. So we designed PI controller at the lower frequencies. So but we designed as a FL equal to FC by some 50th. Okay, FC divided by 50. So 5000 by 50 is how much? 100. That's how the FL was 100 Hertz. Therefore, omega L will be 2 pi into FL. So 2 pi into 100 will be 200 pi, which is 628.32. So make changes in your previous notes. So with this new transfer function, these are the new gains. As we can see that they are positive, indicates that system is stable. You may be thinking that how to implement these particular two transfer functions. One is the PI, another is the lead compensator. If you recall your knowledge from the control system study, you can realize lead or lag network by a passive network, or you can also realize by active network like op-amps. Op-amps are better choice because they won't overload the source and offers very high impedance to the source. So you can see here the overall scheme look like this, which was also explained in the previous class, that this is the power circuit, which is the boost converter. Okay, and this power circuit has a switch which is controlled by the duty cycle of the PWM block, and in between there is a interface circuit which provides the isolation between the logic signal and the power signal. Okay, so this is additional block called isolation block or driver circuit, you can say. Circuit plus driver circuit. And before that we have compensation network and PI controller. The input of PI controller is the difference of voltage of the reference and the feedback signal, and that error is passed through PI controller. This feedback signal comes from the output voltage V0 after sensing it. So you can see from here the voltage is being sensed, comes back to the feedback signal and then compared with the reference signal, and then all this processing takes place. Now the question is that what is inside this? What is inside this? What is inside this already explained. Okay, it is simply a comparator circuit. So you can compare the BC and this is the phase lag or lead compensator. This is a combined network in fact. The outer stage is basically voltage follower which provides gain of -1 because this is inverting mode. So this is the op amp in inverting mode. What is the gain of op amp in inverting mode? Minus ZFY ZI. If this is ZI, if this is ZF, then minus ZFY ZI will be the gain of this in the inverting mode op amp. And this gain is -1. Okay, so the whole this into minus becomes ZFY ZI, where R3 equal to R4 we can take around 10 kilo ohms, so that the gain of this is minus R4 by R3. This is the gain of the voltage follower. So this is equal to -1. So the whole thing into minus becomes a positive gain, ZF by ZI. What is ZF? It is shunt combination of R2 and C2, and what is ZI is shunt combination of R1 and C1. So we can write this in a Laplace domain. Therefore ZF is R2 into 1 by SC2. This is the impedance of the capacitance in Laplace transform, and this is R2 divided by R2 plus 1 by SC2, and this becomes, similarly ZI equals to R1 into 1 by SC1, the shunt combination of these two. Okay, that becomes R1 by R1 C1s plus 1. Now the transfer function for this part, or rather say the overall gain of this lead compensator or lag compensator becomes J minus ZF by ZI. Minus I will replace with another minus term, so into -1 you can say the overall gain will be -1 here. So this we will change to into -1, and this becomes therefore R2 by R1, this by this, so R2 by R1 here, then into 1 plus R1 S by 1 plus R2 C2S. Or we can write R2 by R1 1 plus S by 1 by R1 C1 and 1 plus S by 1 by R2 C2. This is of the form that you have studied earlier, that is 1 plus S by omega Z and divide by 1 plus S by omega P. So we want to write in this form so that we can solve for the parameters R1 C1 R2 C2 in order to design this whole circuit. So this is the value of omega Z and this is the omega P. Okay, and we can realize both the circuits with the help of the proper selection of R1 C1 R2 C2. For example, if omega Z is less than omega P, then it is a lead compensator. Fine, and this basically means that 1 by R1 C1 is less than 1 by R2 C2, which means R1 C1 is greater than R2 C2. So if R1 C1 is far greater than R2 C2, then it is a phase lead compensator. And when the opposite happens, that is omega P is less than omega Z, then R2 C2 is far greater than R1 C1, then it is a lag compensator. So you can realize the lag and lead compensator with the help of this circuit just by choosing proper values of R1, R2, C1, C2. Now we will see how the PI control unit is realized using the op-amp. As you can see in the diagram here, that this unit is realized by the combination of R1 dash at the input and a series combination of R2 dash and C2 dash, as you can see here. And then there is a stage of voltage follower which gives the gain of minus R4 dash by R3 dash, which is equal to minus 1. So this minus 1 is multiplied with this stage gain, which is inverting mode operation of the op amp, and this negative becomes positive. The transfer function for this unit is given by minus Zf dash by Zi dash again into minus 1, because the stage after this is voltage follower stage. So this into minus 1 becomes simply Zf dash by Zi. Okay, so here the gain, overall gain, becomes positive. Therefore, we can remove this and simply put it Zf dash by Zi dash. Now, what is Zf dash? Is series combination of R2 and C2. So R2 dash plus 1 by SC2 dash, which can be also written in the form of R2 dash C2 dash S plus 1 by SC2 dash. And Zi dash is R1 dash. This is the input resistance, impedance as input resistance. Substituting this value in the transfer function or in the gain of this Pi, we will get Gp Is 1 by R1 dash R2 dash C2 dash S plus 1 by SC2 dash. And if we simplify further, then we see that this term goes away, and finally we have R2 dash by R1 dash into 1 plus 1 by R2 dash C2 dash by S. This is of the form which can be written as R2 dash by R1 dash 1 plus omega L by S. That's how we expressed previously the gain of PI control unit was expressed as 1 plus omega L by S. Now here omega L is nothing but 1 by R2 dash C2 dash. The gain of this PI control unit is 1 at gain crossover frequency. You can see here at h is equal to j omega c, it is desired that the PI control unit must give the gain of unity so that it won't affect the dynamic characteristics of the compensator of the whole system at s is equal to j omega c. Therefore, we know that omega L is far less than omega c, and hence to make it unity at the gain crossover frequency, R2 dash is equal to R1 dash. And therefore, if I choose R1 dash as 10 kilo ohm, then R2 dash is also 10 kilo ohm. So these values are 10 kilo ohm and 10 kilo ohm. The value of C2 dash can be found from the overall gain characteristic that we will see later. Now these two circuits can be combined because they will come in a cascaded mode. First PI controller, then you can put the design, the lead compensator. So these two stages, this is negative gain and this is the negative gain as well. So negative into negative become positive. Then this stage is not required. Therefore, the combined operation of PI controller and the lead compensator is shown by this network. So this is the lead compensator plus PI controller. The voltage follower stages are gone because each block has a negative output or negative gain. So negative into negative become positive. So this is the combined block for the lead compensator and the PI controller. Okay. And the overall gain will be therefore of this type. This you already have studied earlier. So this is the transfer function for the combined lead compensator and the PI controller. If we compare this with the transfer function that we have found here, GPI into GC total, so we multiply them, we will get this term on the right hand side. Okay. This term. And then we can compare these parameters with the values of the transfer function that we found earlier, and we can solve for the R1, R2, C1, C2. R2 dash, R1 dash we already found 10 kilo ohms, and also we have removed the emitter follower, this voltage follower stage, so there is no question of R3 dash and R4 dash. Here we have taken R3 and R4 dash. So in the example I have taken this as a R1 dash. This we have taken R2 dash. This I have taken as C2 dash. Okay, so R1, C1, R2, C2. This is R1 dash, this is R2 dash, C2 dash. So if we see that, then we will get this transfer function R2, R2 dash by R1, R1 dash. We multiply these two transfer function. Here it is. If you see this transfer function here, this is R2 dash by R1 dash, this one, into this, and here it is R2 by R1. So R2 by R1 into R2 dash by R1 dash, and then these two factors, numerator and denominator. So multiplying this and this, we will get this transfer function. And then we can compare to find out the values of remaining parameters. For example, omega z is what? 1 by R1 C1. You can see here, this is omega z. This is omega p. This is omega L. And this is nothing but GC0. That's all. So from these values, like omega z equal to 1 by R1 C1 equal to 3022.21 we found earlier. And we can take safely R1 as 10 kilo ohm. And this gives C1. So finally we found C1 comes out to be 33 nanofarad. And omega p is 1 by R2 C2, which is 326.28 power 3 radian per second, and this implies C2 equal to 1 by this value into R2. What is R2? R2 has to be found by overall gain. Earlier we have found GC0 is 0.2951. From the previous discussion, after adjusting the position of the gain crossover frequency, we found that GC0 is 0.2951. Now this is GC0 together. Okay, so GC0 is R2 dash by R1 dash. Now R1 dash and R2 dash we have taken 10 kilo ohm. to make unity gain for the PI controller in the steady state at the gain crossover frequency. Therefore, R2 by R1 is nothing but 0.2951. And R1 is 10 kilo ohm we have taken here. Therefore, the value of R2 is 0.2951 or 2.951 kilo ohms into R1 is 10. This into 10 becomes 2.9, close to 3 kilo ohms. So R2 is therefore 2.95. Substitute it back to find out C2. So we substitute back here in this expression, C2 here, and then we find the value of C2 comes out to be 1.038 nanofarad, close to 1 nanofarad. R2 is replaced here, not there. I must change the this thing. R2 comes here. And this value of C2 as 1.039. So now we have C1, R1, C2, R2. What is remaining? C2 dash. C2 dash is found by substituting this equal to omega L. 1 by R2 dash C2 dash equals to omega L. So omega Pi equal to omega L here, which is 628.32, and this is 1 by R2 dash C2 dash. R2 we already know 10 kilo ohms, so this is R2 is 10 kilo ohms here. Substitute back, this is C2 dash. So this is the value of C2 dash. That's all. So R1, R2, R1 dash, R2 dash, C1, C2 and C2 dash. These are the parameters that have been determined for this design, and they are shown in this figure. So that's how this circuit looks in the analog domain. You can also implement this circuit in a digital domain. You can give transfer function to the simulation platform, and it will understand the position of zero end pole. It will make the corresponding digital pattern for giving the output. That is also possible. However, from understanding point of view, this gives more clarity. Okay. Now after that, you can also revisit what is the PWM control block. As I said, this is PWM control unit. We simply compare BC with the B triangular. If you recall, the diagram that we have done was like this. Okay, and this was the BC. So we have taken for this as a pulse output 1, then 0 up to this point. So when this is actually B triangular and this is BC. So when BC is greater than V triangular, the output is 1 here. So the output of this block is, you can say B0 is equal to 1. And when VC is less than B triangular, then output is 0 pulse. That's how we get the pulses of certain duty cycle. So this is the PWM block, and we have found the transfer function for this block is 1 by B triangular peak. I hope you can recall it. We have proved that the transfer function for this is 1 by B triangular peak. For feedback gain, we have a potential divider so that we can convert the 400 volt into range of 5 volt. So the gain of this will be R2 by R1 plus R2 equal to 5 by 400. And we can design for R1 and R2 for this circuit. So R1 equals to 79 into R2. So if we can take R2 as 10 kilo ohm. Okay, and this implies that R1 equal to 79 times of R2, that is 790 kilo ohms. This way the feedback system can also be designed. So now we have all the blocks. I hope it is very clear to you that how the design takes place for any converter in general. Apart from that, there are many other control schemes. For example, we may have two loop cascaded control unit. What we have discussed is a one loop, and the loop is the voltage control loop, that is called outer control loop. In two control loop, we use the voltage and current loop. So inner loop is basically current loop. So this is the inner loop, IL. And then this after IL we have a outer loop called voltage control loop. So this is the voltage control loop here, and this is the voltage control loop, and if you see, this part is the inner control loop. This has the advantage of reducing the voltage variation sensitivity at the input. So if the VG changes, even the large change in the VG will not affect the output voltage V0 because of the tighter control, and this improves the overall dynamics. We can prove by mathematical analysis also. So this block is PI plus compensator block, and for this block we need only PI because IL to D system is stable. So this needs to be taken care of, the other things are fine. And this scheme can also be used for tracking the maximum power point. So if we have a PV system, okay, and we generate the reference quantity for maximum power using MPPT algorithm. So MPPT algorithm gives the voltage reference for the PV that corresponds to the maximum power, and we have to bring the actual voltage to that level. So BPV has to be brought to this level by comparing with the reference value and producing the error here, and that error is passed through same PI plus compensator. Then the inner current loop here, this inner current loop, this one. This is the outer voltage control loop, and then PWM block and carrier, and finally the gate comes back here. Similarly, we can use these schemes for any other applications where you want to either regulate the voltage or you want to extract the maximum power from some energy resources. But remember, this application is different. In this, the idea is to follow the BPV, not V0. V0 will come out something, but there will not be any direct control over V0. However, we will maintain this voltage equals to BPV star, because here objective is to have a set of BPV and IPV so that the power is maximum. If you further want to tightly regulate this voltage, then we have to have another stage where we will focus on the output voltage. We have only one switch, so we have only one degree of freedom. Either we can control BPV or we can control V output. So at a time, we will choose one parameter. You can make trade-off between these two, that is possible, but one switch can clearly control either the input side voltage or output side voltage. Otherwise, we have to go for two such converters, which one switch will take care of the maximum power and another switch will take care of the output voltage. Okay, so I hope this point is clear. Apart from that, the voltage control scheme, then voltage and current control scheme called two loop cascaded scheme here. We have some other control schemes for these converters which are listed here. You can go through them whenever you have time or when you want to use for your research purpose. Like voltage control, this already I discussed. The two loop control we have discussed. then B square control, B square C control, pole placement techniques, sliding mode control, predictive control, adaptive back stepping control, passivity based control, then there are artificial intelligence based controls. There are large number of control schemes that are available to these converters. What we have discussed are most generic so that you can take lead from these steps that we have discussed. Okay. Now with this, I have prepared assignment for you. I will upload this on the Moodle and go through all the questions, solve them. Maybe in one class I will discuss these problems, but you solve them and be ready to verify answers what we have. So there are 12 problems here, and these two problems maybe you need the MATLAB, so you can use MATLAB because this is a design method. Phase margin and gain margins are involved. For others, I think ordinary calculator is fine. Then there are some assignments for more in-depth understanding or involving some thinking on these lines. These are the assignments that you can do for your own benefit. You need not to submit them. It is for your own understanding, for your own clarity, and more revision on the lines that we have discussed. However, the C part assignments to be submitted. Okay, here you have to go through them and you can choose any of them. So I have taken one is basic buck-boost converter, then Cuck converter, then bidirectional converter, third, and then there is a Sepik converter, then there is Zeta converter. I want more clarity on the analysis, design, and the control part. You can refer papers and books, whatever you want to refer, that's not a problem. But I must see the clarity in your assignment, in your design process when you submit the assignment. So I hope it is fine. Now I will close this unit, particularly DC-DC converter for the application of microgrid. In the next class, we will talk about the application of bin energy systems to the microgrid system, in which we will mostly focus on the DFIG, that is doubly fed induction machine.